The fact that the BRICS are becoming a powerful economic group has made people both happy and worried. As these countries quickly become more important economically, it is normal to wonder what their combined power means. In this in-depth look, we look at many different parts of the BRICS future to see if there are good reasons to be worried. Imagine a new world order in which the rise of the BRICS countries challenges the status and changes the way nations' futures will turn out. And what they mean? You should be ready for a mind-blowing discovery that will make you question everything you thought you knew. The world is about to go through a big change that you won't want to miss. The world pays attention to how strong the economies of the BRICS countries are as a group. These countries make up a big part of the world's people, land area, and economy. The BRICS bloc has a huge impact on foreign trade, investment flows, and economic policies because their combined GDP makes up a big part of the world economy. Businesses can make a lot of money in these countries because their customer markets are so big and their middle classes are growing. Companies want to take advantage of the growing demand for goods and services in the BRICS countries, which is causing more trade and investment. The growth of the BRICS group raises questions about the way the world's economies are not balanced. If a few countries have a lot of economic power, it can make it hard for other countries to get to markets, use resources, or share wealth. It becomes important to make sure that the benefits of economic growth are shared fairly and help to close the social and economic gaps within and between the BRICS countries. Also, there could be imbalances in trade flows, currency values, and investment trends, which could make the global economy less stable. To solve these problems and make the world economy more balanced and open to everyone, the BRICS countries and other economies need to work together. Within the BRICS framework, financial unity is one of the most important things. Strengthening financial ties, encouraging currency swaps, and setting up ways for greater financial integration are all ways to improve financial stability and lessen reliance on financial systems outside of the country. The creation of the New Development Bank, NDB, and the Contingent Reserve Arrangement, CRA, shows a commitment to building alternative financial institutions that can provide financing options and stability in times of disaster. These plans aim to change the way the world's financial system works and make it less vulnerable to economic shocks from the outside. Traditional economic players have to work hard to keep up with their fast economic growth and improvements in key industries. As BRICS countries get better at manufacturing, technology, and services, there is more competition in these areas. For established economies to keep up with this changing environment, they need to adapt, come up with new ideas, and improve their competitive advantages. In order to stay competitive in the global market, this can lead to improvements in technology and efficiency, as well as the creation of new businesses. When the BRICS countries work together, there are many trade and investment possibilities. With their combined economic power, these countries strengthen their economic ties, improve cooperation in the area, and make it easier to do business across borders. Trade agreements, like the BRICS Trade Facilitation Framework, make it easier to do business within the bloc by streamlining customs processes and lowering trade barriers. Bilateral investment agreements and efforts like the BRICS New Development Bank provide funding for infrastructure development and encourage investment in areas like energy, transportation, and communications. The rise of the BRICS shows a fascinating shade of opportunities and problems. This is because the rise of these countries has deep social effects. When you look at the social viewpoint more closely, you can see how many different factors work together to have a lasting effect on societies. Let's go on an exciting trip through the exciting social dynamics of the BRICS countries, going deeper into the details and revealing the interesting stories that emerge. Socioeconomic development is at the heart of the BRICS countries, as a wave of economic growth sets off a chain of changes in society and the economy. The combination of a rising GDP, a rise in job possibilities, and infrastructure projects create a wave of change that raises living standards and slowly breaks the grip of poverty. Notably, the schooling and healthcare systems are getting much better, which gives more people access to good services. As the main driver of domestic consumption, the growing middle class helps the economy grow and changes businesses and markets both locally and around the world. Within the BRICS countries, there is a treasure trove of different cultures, languages, and habits that come together to make an interesting cultural exchange and integration landscape. This mix of countries makes it easy for people to talk to each other, learn from each other, and work together. As lines become less clear, cultural integration makes it easier for ideas, art, music, books, and sports to be shared. Through educational exchanges, travel, and tourism, societies can see more of the world and feel more linked to each other and to the rest of the world. Within this rich tapestry, the seeds of creativity, mutual respect, and love for cultural diversity take root and grow, sparking a cultural renaissance that is felt far and wide. As success speeds up, inclusivity and social equity are becoming more and more important for the BRICS countries. Even though economic growth brings about good changes, it becomes very important to make sure that the benefits are shared fairly. As more money is put into education, skill development, and social aid programs, the fight against income inequality, gender inequality, and social exclusion gets stronger. Creating more inclusive societies, where social mobility is a real possibility and everyone has access to opportunities, is based on giving power to marginalized groups and fighting for gender equality. This creates a feeling of collective progress and shared prosperity. The BRICS bloc is shaped by urbanization and sustainable development. As cities grow, people grow, and environmental issues become more important. In the race to build cities that people can live in, there are many obstacles in housing, infrastructure, transportation, and protecting the environment. The BRICS countries are committed to being environmentally friendly, so they are working to create green towns with good public transportation and eco-friendly infrastructure. The most important thing is to find a good balance between economic growth and protecting the environment. This will make sure that the cities of the future do well economically and also live in harmony with nature, setting new standards for living in cities in a healthy way. The BRICS countries are struggling to keep their unique social and cultural heritage in the face of change and globalization. Traditional ways of doing things, native knowledge, and historical riches are at a crossroads where they could be lost in the rush toward modernization. Keeping cultural identity alive becomes a very important goal, so efforts must be made to protect cultural heritage, protect historical sites, and help indigenous people. Striking a delicate balance between accepting globalization and keeping cultural differences is a sign of the richness and diversity that these countries value, building a strong sense of pride and cultural resilience. Is their rise something to worry about or a sign of good things to come? Get ready, because in our search for the truth from different points of view, we're about to reveal a surprising twist that goes against what most people think. Stay tuned as we try to make sense of the complex web of economic power, military changes, and social changes at the heart of the BRICS story. The truth is out there, and it might change how you see the world as we know it. From an environmental point of view, the addition of the BRICS countries to the global scene raises important questions, and their effects on the world's ecological health need to be looked at more closely. As these countries' economies grow and become more industrialized quickly, climate change and resource consumption become more important. To live in harmony with the Earth, it is important to find a balance between economic development and sustainable practices. The first thing to deal with is climate change. The BRICS countries are having trouble with the problems that rising carbon pollution bring. With their large populations and growing businesses, these countries add to the carbon footprint of the whole world. But because they know how urgent the situation is, they are turning more and more to sustainable methods. Efforts to reduce carbon emissions, invest in clean energy technologies, and promote renewable energy sources show a growing dedication to fighting climate change. By putting in place green policies and promoting energy saving, the BRICS countries hope to have less of an effect on the environment and help achieve global climate goals. In addition to climate change, the use of resources is also a major issue. As the BRICS countries grow quickly, there is a higher demand for water, minerals, land, and other natural resources. To keep these resources from running out and hurting the environment, it is important to use them in a way that is responsible and viable. These countries can lessen the negative effects of resource extraction and use by using good resource management techniques like recycling, sustainable agriculture, and land use planning. By using new technologies and following the ideals of a circular economy, the BRICS countries hope to reduce waste and encourage the use of resources in a sustainable way. Also, the BRICS bloc's promise to work together on global environmental issues opens up good chances to work together on a larger scale. Since these countries know that environmental problems are linked, they take part in international meetings and agreements that try to solve problems like climate change, biodiversity loss, and sustainable development. The BRICS countries help shape global environmental policies and actions by using their combined power and sharing what works best. But effective coordination and implementation of environmental projects across different countries are still important if we want to see real and good results. It talks about the problems and chances that come with their fast economic growth. As these countries try to keep growing, it is very important for them to find a balance between economic growth and taking care of the earth. By using sustainable practices, reducing carbon emissions, and promoting the efficient use of resources, the BRICS countries show they are committed to solving climate change and making sure the future is sustainable. By working together and cooperating on environmental issues around the world, they help achieve the goal of protecting the planet for future generations. It is important to keep a balanced view and see the possibilities that the BRICS nations offer for economic growth, political influence, social development, and environmental cooperation.